Hey, welcome once again to Love of Christ introduction videos. This is our final one. You've made it. Great job. My name is Steve Klemp, your video host and also the pastor here at Love of Christ. You know, we really do love that you are here and joining us and exploring how we might be able to walk together closer to Jesus. That's what the purpose of Love of Christ is. And we explored that in our first video, talking about how Jesus has given us this mission to go and share the good news about Him with the whole world, and that we want to walk with everyone in a deeper relationship. We can all grow in our relationship with Jesus, and draw closer to the Father. In the last video, we talked about the four-step growth cycle or process that we go through here at Love of Christ. We want everyone to know God more than just a head knowledge, but it's that relationship thing, that relationship component. We also want people to be able to find freedom. We do that through our small groups, to be surrounded by encouraging people that will share with us and will share with each other the burdens and challenges of life, but then also to celebrate those great and awesome victories in the world that God blesses us with. Today we're going to look at the final two parts of that cycle: discovering your purpose and making a difference. You know, when you think about discovering your purpose, we believe that God has created each one of us in a unique and amazing way. In fact, in the book of Psalms, in one of the songs, it writes about how God has knit us together in our mother's womb. Like God was actively creating and involved in your creation as you were being held in your mother's womb, as you grew and developed. That's a great and awesome concept, to think that our Father was intimately involved with us even before we were born. And that in that intimate involvement, he's coded inside of us different personality types. He's given us different experiences growing up. But even more than that, he has blessed us and poured out his Holy Spirit upon us. There's a writer in the New Testament in the Bible. His name was Paul, and he talks about this Spirit of God being poured out in different portions and in different ways on different people. He describes it this way. He says, we are all members of one body. Think about it. You've got hands and arms and eyes and ears and nose, and these things are all part of your body, and yet they each function differently. Paul says in the church, all of us have different functions, and we're supposed to use them not in service to ourselves or in opposition to other people, but in conjunction with each other, so that even though there's many members, even though there's many parts of the body, it's still one body, and Jesus Christ is our head. And so as you go through and figure out how God has created you and the unique personality you have, but also what is the gifts of God, especially from His Spirit, that you have in a way that nobody else in the world has, because it plays in with your upbringing. It plays in with how you're created and just your personality. And that's what we talk about, discovering your purpose, that you can walk through and understand, maybe in a deeper way, how God has uniquely positioned you to make a difference in His world. If you've started on our LOC Start process, that's when you first kind of come to church and you want to learn a little bit more. We say, hey, go to LOC Start. Maybe many of you have found these videos as a result of starting there. And as you work through that and move towards what we call LOC Next, you're going to figure out how those spiritual gifts play in your life. We've got ways and tools that we want to explore your spiritual gifts with you. If you've not yet started on that journey, I encourage you, go back to LOC Start. Let's start there, because that's the best way to work through this process, to discover how God has uniquely gifted and created you. And once you understand that, once you understand what your passions are and how God has created you, that's when you can serve and make the biggest difference. Because when you're making a difference for the Lord, when you're serving the Lord and you're doing it according to your passions, when you're doing it according to the way God has uniquely gifted you, you know what? You are going to be built up. You're going to be encouraged. You're going to be fired up. And that's what's so awesome, is when people are operating according to their giftedness and their passion, amazing things happen. Maybe you like technology, and you can see how we can do some fun things with technology here in the sound booth. We got sound. Maybe that's not your thing. that's okay. Maybe you're just a friendly person. We could love to have you just greet people on Sunday mornings. Maybe that's not your giftedness. Maybe you've got a different gift. That's okay. What we want you to do is be able to find that place where you can serve. And that's what making a difference is all about. We make a difference when we are using the gifts that God has given to us for His sake, for His glory, for His kingdom. And that looks like just finding a place here at Love of Christ, serving other people. What does that look like? Where do you fit? You know what? We want to encourage everyone to always try something new. You might not feel, this may seem very daunting to you to be messing around with the soundboard, but you know what? You're not going to be just thrown out there to do it. Think about when you learned how to drive a car. People didn't put you behind the car and say, okay, good luck. No, there was a training process. There was a skills development. Maybe you drove around with your parents so they could show you and teach you how to do things. And after a while, you got the hang of it. And probably now, you jump in a car, turn the key, and don't even think about the skills that you've developed in learning how to drive that vehicle. You know, in the same way as we go and try new things here, maybe it's not your gig. Maybe you don't feel comfortable doing it. That's okay. Give it a try. See how it works. And if after a while you're like, no, that's not really my thing, that's okay. You know what? We've learned something else, and we'll try something else. As we keep trying and discovering where God places us, then we know we can go and make that difference. And here's the other challenge. Once you find that place and are doing that, don't be afraid to step out once again. Step up into maybe a leadership position or continue to grow and develop, because there's always more that we can do in service to others. And when we're serving others, that's when we're serving the Lord. When we think about that whole picture of the people and the family and the body here at Love of Christ, another way to describe it, and maybe not the body, it would be more like a garden. That we're seeking all of us to grow and develop and produce some sort of a fruit or a product. That every single one of us needs to take a little bit of ownership in the part that we play. That we're all taking on that same attitude that we want to grow in our faith, grow in our personality, grow in our development, grow in our relationships. That we want to connect to other people. That there's connection things that are happening. That we're not just isolated all by ourselves. This is a family deal that we do this in, and that we want to invite others. We always want to be open and welcoming to new people coming in, and you have an opportunity to do that. As you look around, maybe you say, well, I don't have my spot. I don't have people that I know. Well, invite people that you do know to join you in then on this journey. We'd love to meet them as well. Whatever the case and situation might be, our hope and our desire is here, that you would know God, find freedom, discover your purpose, and go and make a difference. And if there's any way in which we can help you in that way, please reach out to us. We'd love to walk with you. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you, and pray God's richest blessings upon you. Thanks for watching. Bye.